So today we're going to start talking about asking and telling the time. The question for asking the time is ¿Qué hora es? So we're going to look at different examples on how you would say the time in Spanish. So let's start when it's exactly o'clock, like the time exactly. For example, the first one we have is es la una, or we have son las dos, son las tres. Now how does this work? Anytime we find any time in 1 o'clock, it's always going to be es la. But if it's 2 o'clock or any time after 2 o'clock, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12, you're always going to be using son las. Okay, that's why we have for 2 o'clock, son las dos, and for 3 o'clock, son las tres. Okay, so let's go ahead and practice. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 4. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 7. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 10. ¿Qué hora es? Es la 1. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 12. Now, let's talk about when it's not exactly the hour. So it's not 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, but it's 1:05 or 2:15 or 2:30, etc. So what do? You're basically going to write a sentence that says it is 1 o'clock and 5. So you're saying it's 1 and 5, basically, when you write it. So in here, for 1:05 says es la 1 y 5 and 5. The next one says 2:10. So you would write son las 2 y 10. The next one is 3:20, and that would be son las 3 y 20. The next one is 4:40, so that would be son las 4 y 40. Now the next time is 5:50, so that would be son las 5 y 50. So now let's go ahead and practice, and I want you to write them down before I say them so you can get some practice. So I'm going to stop after asking you ¿Qué hora es? So here we go. ¿Qué hora es? Write it down first on your own and then check with me. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Listo? Son las 2 y 25. Okay? Now if you don't want to start writing it, you can just go ahead and say it, but I want you to try it on your own. The next one, ¿qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Es la 1 y 5. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 6 y 10. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 11 y 40. ¿Qué hora es? Es la 1 y 25. Okay, now we're going to talk about specific situations. Now the first situation is when it's 1:15. When it's 1:15, we would usually say es la 1 y 15. But there's another way of saying 1:15. It's to say it's a quarter after 1, or 1 and a quarter. And the way we say that is by saying es la 1 y cuarto. So y cuarto means and a quarter. Okay? So let's try it again. If it's 3:15, we could say son las 3 y 15, or we could say son las 3 y cuarto. Okay, so that's two ways of saying the same thing, and it's important that we know both of them. Okay, now let's talk about another situation. When it's 1:30 or 2:30 or 3:30, 30 minutes after the hour. The first way of saying it is by saying es la 1 y 30. But there's another way of saying this, and it is es la 1:30. Y media means and a half. So a half an hour after Okay, so it's 1.5. That's what you're saying. Or it could be son las 4:30, or you would say son las 4:30. So basically those are the two ways of saying the time. Now, this is a way that people tell the time in certain parts of Latin America. This is only for times past 35 minutes. So only after it's 35 minutes after the hour. You would say, for example, son las 2 menos 20, or son las 5 menos 10, or son las 7 menos 5. Now you're probably wondering, what in the world is this? Because in the first one it's saying it's son las 2, but it's really saying it's 1 o'clock. So what is it going on? Menos means minus. So basically what you're saying is, you're saying that it is 2 o'clock minus 20 minutes in the first case. So 2 o'clock minus 20 minutes, that would be 1:40. On the next one, you're actually saying that it is 5 o'clock minus 10 minutes, which is 4:50. And on the last one, you're saying that it is 7 o'clock minus 5 minutes, which is 6:55. So how do we do this? This is the way we do it. Okay, you write son, then the next hour, then you write menos, which means minus, and the minutes left till that next hour. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and practice some of this because I know it's confusing. 12:45. ¿Qué hora es? So remember, you're going to go to the next hour, which in this case would be 1 o'clock, and then you're going to take away the amount of minutes till that time. So the next hour would be es la 1 menos 15, because it's 15 minutes before the hour. So es la 1 menos 15. You can also say menos cuarto, which is the expression quarter. Okay? Or, of course, you can say son las 12:45. Both of them mean the same thing, but one is done by taking away the minutes before the hour, and the other is just saying the actual time. Okay? So let's give it another try. ¿Qué hora es? Remember, go to the next hour and then subtract the minutes before that you have left before the hour. So you have son las 6 menos 10. So it's 6 o'clock minus 10, that would be 5:50. Son las 5:50. So let's have another try. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 9 menos 20, or son las 8:40. Okay, now this is very important. If it's AM, you would say de la mañana. If it's PM, you can say de la tarde or de la noche. So for example, if it's 1 AM, you would say es la 1 de la mañana. If it was 2 PM, then you would say son las 2 de la tarde. So this is how you use these expressions. It's important to know them.